Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about the Detroit Lions and how massively they improved with TJ Hockenson and company. Okay, so in the first round, we know that they grabbed TJ Hockenson at tight end. And tight end from, Iowa, excuse me. I wanted to say why. Well, Iowa. An outlet receiver who's going to be able to block. So you know they have Kerryon Johnson. Very valuable running back. A zone read, inside zone, has the speed to get outside, can make the read, make the cut, get to the second level, third level of the defense. And then they bring in C.J. Anderson as well. A guy that was instrumental in the Rams getting to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think Detroit is talking about a Super Bowl quite yet, but they have made some massive improvements to where they can be much more consistent per game. And as they play into the game, I think you'll see in the second and third quarter a much higher level of play. There won't be a drop off. The running backs are much better, and then you have TJ Hockenson. Excellent outlet receiver. Gives you some run after the catch. Excellent in the red zone. Now, he's a rookie, so he hasn't proven it in the NFL. But he played to such a high level in college that you have to think 3 years out, what will he really be? What is his potential? Okay? I think a lot of it translates. A lot of it. A lot of the thing, he made a lot of very, very athletic plays in college. And I have to believe that a lot of that will translate. But Iowa predicates their tight ends being blockers first, receivers second. So you know his blocking skills are up to par. And they have a former New England coach in Matt Patricia, former defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. So you know, in New England, their tight ends block first and receive second. Even though they had Gronk was first a very good blocker, and then he became the Gronk that we know today. TJ Hockenson is in this mold. I'm not saying he's going to be Gronkowski, but he's in that mold. He has that type of potential. I think Matt Patricia saw what Gronk brought to the Patriots, and so he went out and got TJ Hockenson, hoping that somewhere along the way, TJ Hockenson can be that, start out just being a very good, very solid player that can grow and become that Pro Bowl tight end in his own way, not necessarily Gronk's way, but in his own way. And he's got a very experienced quarterback throwing him the ball in Matthew Stafford. All this helps because Matthew Stafford's going to see the field very well. They have two very good offensive tackles. Now, they play Chicago, they play Green Bay, and you play Minnesota. So it's a very tough division. All these teams have good pass rushers. So the tackles are tested week in, week out, every week. So, yes, there is times where they give up sacks. Well, if you're playing against Khalil Mack and company week in, or that caliber of pass rusher week in, week out, there will be some times where you may make a mistake or a guy makes a play on you or something of that nature. Where other tackles, they might not have the quality of pass rushers in their division, so they're not playing the same caliber of players week in, week out, so they look better. Okay? But what they will be able to do, they'll help them slow down the pass rush, is they're going to be able to run the football. This team is focused on being able to run the ball. They didn't just bring in TJ Hockenson. They brought in Isaac Natua from Georgia, another possession type of tight end who can block, a guy from the SEC. Now, Georgia focuses on athletic ability. You got to be able to block, but they focus on the pure athlete. Year in, year out, they're putting guys into the NFL that are pure athletes. Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, They've got running. That's running back you of late. But in 4 players, middle linebacker, and excuse me if I have these names are pretty extraordinary. Please correct me if I pronounce them wrong, but I will do my best. Jalanati Tavea, middle linebacker from Hawaii. Anytime you get a middle linebacker from Hawaii, Hawaii predicates themselves. They don't get the athletes other schools get. So they go out and look for the most aggressive, hardworking, tough player. The toughest player they can find. Boston College and Will Harris, very good, strong safety. Got him in the 3rd round. Okay. Here's a guy that can play free safety. He can play strong safety. Now, he is a 3rd round draft pick, but I think he can add some consistency, at least coming off the bench. The Lions don't have big names as far as safety goes, so he will probably get some playing time. And then you have Austin Bryant, a pass rusher from Clemson, to go along with the rest of their pass rushers. Okay. Austin Bryant was in the shadow of the rest of the defensive players that they had. Okay. So I thought he was better than a 4th round draft pick, though. I thought this guy might go in the upper 3rd round. Okay. You got Trey Flowers and Deshaun Hand as your 2 guys that have been productive in the NFL already. And then you have Romeo Okoroa, okay, from Notre Dame a few years back. Now, he's a bit of a role player that can get production, okay, and he's very young, and he's still getting better. He's only 24 years old, probably going on 25. Very young player going into the prime of his career. I see the Lions being able to pass rush on a much higher level this year with Trey Flowers and Deshaun Hand, Austin Bryant getting some playing time. Austin Bryant's 6'6", 280, and he can play. He's a very good athlete. He's not great. He's good. Okay. They're going to be able to rotate their pass rushers and get some production. Okay, you're going to see these guys. I'm not talking Trey Flowers. I think he's going to get some sacks, absolutely. But you're going to see a much more consistent pass pressure from the Detroit Lions. Snacks Harrison on the inside, still a good player, still a very good player. He's going to get that inner push. He's got a few years on him now, so is he as good as he used to be? Probably not, but he's still very good, and he's got a lot. He's a veteran, so he has a veteran presence. Then a little bit of a diamond in the rough. Trey Lamar, free agent rookie acquisition from Clemson, middle linebacker. I can't believe this guy didn't get drafted. This guy was good. He could play. He could flow from sideline to sideline. He can get it done in pass coverage. Don't be surprised if he gets some playing time. Some Devin Kennard, a guy that showed a lot of improvement last year, had put together a very solid season. 6'4", 256 pounds. He made a lot of tackles. He was very active. And he got some linebacker. He's getting some linebacker help. In the cornerbacks, not a lot of big names. Tez Tabor getting better, but he still has had his struggles. Everybody knows about Darius Slay. Everybody knows he's a very, very solid player. He's going to be productive. He's going to get probably 5 interceptions. He's going to go out there and do his job. And then they got this kid out of Penn State, Amari Okoroa. Excuse me if I mispronounced the name. I apologize. Very solid corner, good ball skills, doesn't get a lot of interceptions, but he's very sound in coverage. He doesn't miss an assignment. And I think that's what Matt Patricia likes about him. He's always around the ball. He's a very smart defender. He's not going to, just blow a coverage and have a guy wide open and score a touchdown. Very fluid athlete. I thought he'd go a lot higher in the draft. I thought there was a lot of talent in this draft. I've said that before. But the Lions, I really think the Lions have made some improvements. I think they're going to be a lot more productive as far as outlet receivers go. Their tight ends are much, much better. I think there's going to be a little bit of a training camp battle. And I think guys are going to be getting better in training camp, and they're going to produce a much improved team. Wins and losses, it's hard to say for the Lions because a guy like TJ Hockenson could be instrumental for any team. I mean, it's like asking what Gronk brought to the Patriots. Patriots, when Gronk got hurt, they could still win, but they had a lot harder time doing it without him. So some of it, it's not all on TJ Hockenson. There's some other, you got Kenny Golladay, you got a new wide receiver acquisition in Jermaine Kearse. And Kearse, he did good in Seattle. Very solid player. Then he was traded to the Jets for Sheldon Richardson. And at the time, Sheldon Richardson was a top flight defensive lineman. And Seattle thought that they were getting a player that would be with their team for a long, long time. It came to the Jets and then had a good season his first year. Then the offensive coordinators, switched, different system. And he was like the odd man out as Sam Darnold was learning how to play in the NFL. I think the Lions got a much better wide receiver than everybody expects them to be. I think he'll be a lot more productive with the Lions than a lot of people expect. Okay, do I think he's dynamic? Do I think he's going to make the Pro Bowl? No, but I think he's good. I think he's a solid receiver. He just didn't fit what the Jets were trying to make him do. I mean, you get with Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones, two very solid players. Now, Kenny Golladay, I definitely think that this kid could be a perennial Pro Bowler. Everybody knows how many plays he makes. I mean, he can go over 100 yards receiving and have 2 touchdowns in any game he plays in. It doesn't really matter who he plays. It's how Kenny Golladay plays in that game. I believe that this kid could grow to be a perennial Pro Bowler, year in, year out, a superstar. And if that happens, and TJ Hockenson picks up the NFL game and is at a minimum a productive tight end and a good blocker with the running back core that they have, this Lions team's going to be interesting. They added Jesse James too, another guy who can block, coming from the Steelers. Okay. And he is a very good, he's not just a good outlet receiver. He's a good mid-range. He can get downfield a little bit and make some catches. He can go down 15 yards, make them catch. I mean, and then Isaac Natua coming in. You got Logan Thomas. Okay. So you got some people that they might not be superstars, but they're productive players. The Lions are looking to be go into a direction that where I'm thinking they're going to improve. You look at this team through and through. They are built. You can see the New England Patriot influence. They are building with a plan. And then you bring in Bayou Benchwell, offensive guard, undrafted rookie from Wisconsin. Wisconsin had one of the best offensive lines in the country. And, okay, so yeah, sure. Free agent rookie, undrafted. Don't know what he's going to be, but there's some potential there. And then they got this Micaiah St. Andrew as a free agent rookie. 6'3", 348 pounds out of Fresno State. Fresno always has very tough players. They predicate their team on mental toughness, mental and physical toughness, and playing very, very physical, especially at the point of attack and with their running backs. A lot of Fresno State running backs, they're the type of running backs that look for contact and have very good leg drive. Sometimes that may be their downfall a little bit because they don't have the vision to make guys miss a lot of times. Not always. Sometimes they find a good one, but so you got to think a guy 6'3", 348 pounds, he's got some potential. And then with Taylor Decker at left tackle, is he the best left tackle in the league? No, but he's good. He's solid. He just plays every single week. He's going against somebody that's one of the best pass rushers in the league. Rick Wagner, pretty good. Mid-range right tackle. Good in pass protection, good in the running game. I definitely see how they could, use some more guards. I think there's some potential at guard, but you don't see a big name in their guards on the offensive line. At center, they got Graham Glasgow, Luke Bowanalo. I mean, you're not seeing Frank Glognow. Got him from Arkansas a few years back. So, I mean, you're not seeing big, huge names, but I think they're going to be solid at the center position. I don't think you're going to have a big hole. Just solid. I think they're trying to groom their offensive lines much like the New England Patriots do. Get big, tough athletes with a willingness to learn, and not necessarily big names, and let them protect your quarterback and see what the offensive line becomes. I think that's what you're more or less seeing with this team. And they went and got an athletic tight end who can block, help with continuity and consistency of their offense. Give Matt Stafford some short throws to help him out a little bit, and then bring in a group of defensive players to help on every level, all three levels of the defense. And Detroit, I don't give you an A+, but I'll give you an A. Trey Flowers, he's your superstar pickup. Sometimes it takes more than one, but sometimes you can't add more than one. Free agency is a highly competitive market across the NFL, and there are teams with let's just put it this way: some teams can spend more than others. But Matt Patricia, you didn't spend a huge amount of money, but you brought in a lot of potential, and on various levels of the offense and defense, solid improvement this year on every level of your team. I'll give you an A+. Well, excuse me, an A. A solid A. If you improve how you improve this year, every year for the next 3 years, I would say you'll be definitely a contender, without question. That Austin Bryant kid they added from Clemson, I think he's going to be a good one. I would like to see some more interior linemen. I'm real interested to see what that kid out of Fresno State does. 6'3", 348. That kid's got to be tough. I mean, he's got to be just a people mover. But you also have to say he didn't get drafted. Why this? There's a lot of questions that go with that. I think maybe the focus went to the defensive line a little bit more because there were so many of them, especially on the interior defensive line of the draft this year. So publicity has a lot to do with who gets drafted and where they get drafted. And then you get into draft strategy of all the teams and where they think that they can get the most talent from and how long they can wait to take a player and maximize their draft potential to maximize the team growth. Okay, so for Detroit, Matt Patricia, good job, and wish you the best. Detroit, thank you for watching. Have a great day, everyone.